The idea behind this program was to present three pieces from entirely different worlds of sound, different worlds of culture, and different worlds of context. Opening the program is a magnificent song by Schubert entitled The Shepherd on the Rock. Schubert wrote an astonishing 600 plus, I believe it's 623 songs during his lifetime, which would be impressive enough if he lived to 90, but actually he died at the age of 31. And all of these songs were written before this particular song, Shepherd on the Rock. Traditionally, composers have tended to write songs for particular people, which is to say, they're inspired by a particular voice, the timbre, sometimes the person, sometimes both. And in this case, that was exactly what happened. Schubert had come to know a very famous singer of his time, much older than him, and he had several songs which she had sung, songs with piano, but she had also always asked him to write something specifically for her. And in his last year, at the end of a really tumultuous year in terms of health, but also productivity, he came up with The Shepherd on the Rock. And this is distinctly different from the 623 previous songs in that he adds an instrument, the clarinet. So this is a song for clarinet, piano, and soprano. The subject matter is exactly what the title says. It's a shepherd sitting on a rock in a meadow and singing about life, about love, and about nature. It is a magnificently peaceful, melodious, and beautiful song. The clarinet weaves in and out with the voice and creates a kind of trio with the piano. And at the end of the song, what one feels is a sense of peace, beauty, and tranquility. The second piece on our program is by the greatest Romanian composer, George Enescu. George Enescu was quite a phenomenon. He was first and foremost one of the great violinists of the 20th century, actually becoming a student at the Vienna Conservatory, the illustrious and most famous school of its time, at the age of 7. He was the youngest student ever to be admitted to the Vienna Conservatory. As a violinist, he had a magnificent career, both as a performer and as a teacher. In fact, one of his most famous students was Yehudi Menuhin. He was also a wonderful conductor, conducting all over the world, including here in America, and at one point was actually one of 3 candidates being considered to take over the New York Philharmonic after Toscanini. As a composer, he had quite a prolific output, 5 symphonies, many chamber pieces, and what would be considered a generous output for anyone. Given his other activities, it's quite astonishing. Being very interested in Romanian folk music, somewhat in the manner of Bartók and Kodály in their Hungarian interests, Enescu studied a lot of Romanian folk music, and Romanian folk music is very distinct because it has a great influence from gypsies. There was always a large population of Romani or gypsy people in Romania, and there's a tradition of gypsy violin playing. This is a very, very particular idiomatic style, and it's accompanied by various instruments, including a cymbalum. Cymbalum is an instrument vaguely related to mallet instruments. It's played with two mallets. And Enescu, rather than copying folk tunes or specific melodies or songs that he had heard, rather embodied the sound of this music. And he digested it thoroughly and came out with his own idiomatic version of what that sounds like. This particular sonata, number 3, is unlike anything that you can hear. It is full-on Romanian folk gypsy style violin playing, and written in a way that only a virtuoso, an immense virtuoso of the instrument, could possibly do. The piano does a lot of imitating of these other instruments, and the overall sound world is wild, fantastic, exciting, and hearing this piece played by someone like Yura Lee, and it takes someone like Yura Lee to play it properly, it's a very invigorating and mesmerizing experience. The third sound and cultural world on this program is a piano trio by Dmitri Shostakovich. Shostakovich in Russia, around the age of 30, witnessed World War II with the atrocities and the terror and inhumanity involved. At the same time, he was a composer in Stalinist Russia, and there were severe limitations on the style and the manner in which one was supposed to compose. Shostakovich had two versions of how he wrote his music. One was in compliance, more or less, and that involved patriotic, militaristic kind of music. And his other thrust was exactly the opposite, more personal, more real, and very emotionally reacting to both the atrocities that he had witnessed, as well as this deep subjugation as a composer. This trio embodies the strongest possible statement of that sense. And particularly the last movement, which is a kind of macabre dance, is so striking and haunting. And the world and the culture that this piece embodies is an incredibly powerful and profound way to end this program.